and he basically thanks him for helping him save, and they put the word in bold letters, save uh, the world's doc. Basically, he thanks him for helping him save the world, and he shoots. As they're trying to tackle him and stop him, he shoots the beam, and it hits Sigma right in the face. The floating head of Sigma. I don't know how it damages him, and it's about and this is around the time that he's gonna get that. Like I said, it's right at the time at the beginning of the first issue of the crossover, where X is confronting him, and all of a sudden, X is about to confront him. When all of a sudden the blast happens, and everything starts to just basically collapse, everything breaks apart, and then, boop! That's it. And basically everything gets reset. And we're right back where we started, basically. We're right back where we started because you have Zero coming in and Axel coming in wondering what happened, and X is like, I think I beat him, I think I shot him, I think I killed him. And, it's like, so you have them wondering what happened, X kind of slightly explaining what happened, and thinking now basically that the world could truly be at peace with Sigma out of the picture. And then next up you have a side-by-side thing in Sonic's world of Sonic and Eggman. You have like Sonic just suddenly going boink, like something, he's like just waking up from a trance. Tails asking him if he's all right, and of course, like I said, Sonic. Of course, as everybody has talked about, Sonic's calling up Shadow via Nicole, asking him if he's all right. He says, "I'm fine. Why wouldn't I be?" And Sonic's like, "Oh, it's just a funny feeling. That's all." And then he thinks in his mind, and he gets this little thought process in his mind that and this is basically the same thing with him, Mega Man, Wily, and Eggman. Basically, they're all thanking each other, all saying, "Hey, next time we'll achieve what we should have achieved before." And they mention each other's names in their minds because it's like because basically they don't know what happened, but they know that they have crossed paths. They know they've crossed paths with each other and everything. They just don't know what's happened. So you have Sonic thanking Mega Man. You have Eggman waking up, and he wakes up basically obviously from a nap. He asks for a status report. I think it's who it is. It's Orbot, saying that everything is good, all is good, but there seems to be an error in the inventory, as if they lost something. Basically, I think the whole Genesis thing, the whole thing. Well, not the whole Genesis thing, but it's the Chaos Emerald. There you go. The Chaos Emerald is missing. There's your lost inventory, Eggman. And then, of course, you have Orbot wondering asking if they should, continue with the plan or advance forward with the plan to evade Lost Hex. You have Eggman going like, no, let's just focus now on this planet. And then you have him sitting back and thinking, well, another plan failed. Better luck next time, Al. Basically, Albert Wily. And then we get another side-by-side deal with Wily and Mega Man. Wily's back where he was, I guess, confronted by someone that I don't know is a future him or is Xander from the future. I don't know. But apparently he welcomes Wily back, so obviously he knows something. I don't really know. And he basically says, hey, you've had a tiring day. Rest up because tomorrow you work. And then you have Wily in thought thinking, that is basically saying his thoughts are kind of mumbled, muddled right now. But overall, that next time they will win Eggman, or Eggy, as he calls him. So he basically mentions Eggman by saying the next time they meet that they will succeed. And then you have Mega Man coming back from what he was doing at the beginning of the crossover. You have Ro greeting him, kind of crying. He basically has to reassure her by saying, I told you I'd be back, but she's still worried and everything. You have one of the Robot Masters, I can't think of his name right now, one of the light robots, robot masters, if you will, thanking him for bringing the supplies they need to get Light Labs back up and running. And then you have Mega Man in thought saying, he feels like he has accomplished more than just that, and he thanks Sonic at the end. And then, of course, we get Styx, who basically explains everything that happens, basically explains how, basically explains the finale, the fight between the super versions of Mega Man, Sonic, and against Sigma. And, of course, nobody really believes her at first. You have Sonic saying, "Oh yeah, sure, I do this and I do that all the time." And you have Knuckles, of course, who's the cuckoo. Knuckles, who's not. You have the Boom version of Knuckles that's not all cuckoo. There thinking, "You do? When?" And I think Amy's the only one that I think probably kind of gives us some flack, not flack, but kind of gives us some leeway, thinking, "Okay, but that's fine. You're back and everything, but what happened to everybody else? Do you know?" And you have Styx explaining that maybe they all got that probably got. You have Styx probably saying, you have Styx saying that they probably got sent back onto the worlds, possibly with no memory of what's happened and everything, because of the time travel wibbly wobbly, as she calls it. But she also says that you can't mess with the gooey essence of everything like that without changes happening. So basically, she says that time that the time-space continuum can't really be messed with without causing some changes. In other words, making people forget what they had just gone through. And of course, you have Fativius Beaver and Comedy Chimp sitting under a blanket, and you have Fativius going like quoting Dorothy from. You have Fativius Beaver quoting what Dorothy says at the end of Wizard of Oz, going like, "There's no place like home, there's no place like home, there's no place like home." Basically indicating what a lot of people felt that these two are going to have to go through, and that is therapy. And you have Styx kind of ending the story by saying that she bets there's still Genesis portals out there, and there's probably even more worlds to explore, and that she bets it's at the middle, and she says, and she bets you, or basically bets that at the middle of all of it, or what does she say? She says, and I bet you at the middle of it all is some sort of nexus. And you kind of get this picture as she's saying this. You get this picture, as she's saying it. So, overall, Mega Man 52, again, like I said, was all right. And yes, I did read a little bit from the issue that I downloaded. So like I said, it was all right. The ending, I can kind of understand how some people felt it was a little bit weak, if not disappointing. Basically what you have here is you have Xander Payne, using the powers of the basically having the doctors override the security system and everything, and using the power of the Master Engine to open a time portal, courtesy of his cybernetic eye, to blast Sigma in his zero form, his head form, to prevent anything from happening. To basically prevent what we just read for the past 12 issues from happening. For basically what we have read for the past, 4 months from happening. So I can see again why some fans, and even myself, I will admit, kind of look at that as being sort of a, not so, kind of like a, basically like a WTF, like what the blank ending was that. And then of course you have the ending here with Styx saying that all of this, that in the middle of all this whole thing, this whole Genesis portals and stuff, is that in the middle of all of it is some kind of nexus, basically hinting at what could be next for a crossover. And so that's basically how it ends. And again, like I said, I can understand how some people feel about that. Now, some of the action in it was good. I'm not going to deny that. But I think it's the ending to the whole crossover in this one issue that really downplays it. That really brings what could have been potentially a nice ending and probably could have given this a passable grade as far as crossovers go, to downplaying it to almost a failed grade or barely passing grade. Like, yeah, there were some good elements and all that, but overall, what the heck did we just see? You know, what the heck was that? You know, this is how you're going to end it? And I know a lot of hardcore gamers will be like, well, basically Ian Flynn just made the Chaos Control of Supersonic look pathetic. Like this is bad? I mean, you basically have all the signature powers from a lot of the characters, from all the game franchises in this issue, fail them because of the fact that everything has been damaged, so damaged and abused beyond repair that not even their powers can help. In fact, their powers are basically vanishing or weakening because reality is collapsing. And because reality is collapsing, their powers are ceasing to exist. As far as I'm concerned, as far as I look at that. So, overall, when I look at this, I say to myself that there are some good moments in this issue, like some good interaction with Mega Man and Sonic, and I do like the fact that you have, I do like the fact that you have, the characters. I think you have Arthur and that main hero character. You have Arthur from Ghosts and Goblins and that main hero character, I think, from what Breath of Fire, I believe, telling Sally, look, you brought us here to save the world, save reality, do what we have to do, be heroes. We'll be more than willing to sacrifice ourselves. I mean, Arthur even tells us that they would expect nothing less than to sacrifice themselves for the greater good, to help save reality, to save those that might be in danger. So, again, overall a decent, I will say semi-decent. I think what it brings it down from an overall decent issue, like I said, like anybody else has agreed, it's the ending. I mean, basically, you just had Xander Payne, a character from Mega Man, use the power of the Master Engine after the doctors reset it and, overrided the security and got it under their control. You basically had Xander, which I even said in some videos was going to mess up their attempts to take control, and he did. Basically use that power, integrate that power into himself to create, or basically use that power of the Master Engine to overpower or to supercharge his Cyber Eye to create that time portal and undo everything by shooting Sigma Zero, or Sigma in its zero form, right in the face. And basically resetting everything back to before the Genesis, back before this whole crossover began. So in a sense, and that's the bird in the background, I apologize. So in a sense, you just had, in that one panel, you had Sigma, you had Xander Payne erase basically what we had read for the past, like I said, 12 issues. The past 4 issues of Sonic, the past 4 issues of Mega Man. Well, not 4 issues, the past 3 issues of Sonic, the past 3 issues of Mega Man, the past 3 issues of Universe, and the past 3 issues of Boom, as well as those side books, the battles as well, the World Unite battles. You basically had him erase all of that with just one blast. And again, like I said, I can understand why some people feel a little disappointed. Now, the only indication that there is some relevance to the crossover, to there being a connection between both, continuity-wise, being some kind of a connection between both sides, is not only you have Sonic, Mega Man, Eggman, and Wily remembering each other, but not knowing what happened, is one thing. But the other thing is you have X when he asks what happened to Vice. You have, I think, what is it, Axel, I think, saying some strange dude is taking him over to security, is taking him to be handed over to security or whatever, to the police or whatever they're called. Or Maverick Hunters, that's what it is. Basically taking him to be handed over to the Maverick Hunters, saying there's some kind of strange dude. Now, if we read World Unite Battles and everything, pretty much that's who it is. It's Silver. It's Silver the Hedgehog, saying some kind of strange dude. But then again, with everything being reset, it could be somebody else, but it's probably still Silver. So there's those two connections there, even though now Sonic, Mega Man, Wily, and Eggman don't remember exactly what happened. Unlike the last time. Well, mostly Sonic and Eggman remembering everything that happened last time, but not knowing what happened this time. So, again, those are the only things, like I said, that connect somewhat of the crossover being somewhat existing, even though, like I said, the one thing that disappointed a lot of fans was the ending, where you basically had Xander blast Sigma and essentially just erase the 12 issues of the crossover that we just read. Basically erase the story arc that we just read. So, again, I stand by what I said in the other videos and the more recent videos before this, and that's why I look at this as being a sort of semi-decent issue, but not on the level of probably being the best. I mean, it's more like you're building this up, and you give us this as an ending. It doesn't make sense. It's kind of like what some people say about wrestling pay-per-views sometimes. Depending on who the company is, sometimes when you put a pay-per-view on, it feels like you're just charging people either $9.99, depending if it's a network, $59.99 or $49.99, depending if you are ordering the pay-per-view, or $39.99, whatever, for essentially what is a 3-hour, if not 4-hour edition of your flagship program on regular cable television. I mean, it's like you're trying to build it up as something good, but in the end, it's going to be disappointing. Or in the end, it ends up being disappointing. So, that's how some people look at this one as well, and look at World Unite. I mean, like I said, there was three. It's like a 3-course meal. It's like you have your, you have your drinks. You have your. Basically it's like a 3-course meal. Basically like a meal that you order at a restaurant. Like let's say Uno Chicago. You have your drinks that you order first. You have your appetizer. Then you have your main course. Except the main course ends up being disappointing. It's not exactly what you ordered. Like let's say you order a T-bone steak, a New York style T-bone steak. And you say, I want it well done, and then when you cut into it, it's not well done. It's disappointing. Or it's like you see something that's advertised, like you say let's say you go to a fast food place or sort of a semi-fast food place, and they have this big old burger, like let's say a Red Robin or wherever, and they advertise that their burgers are this big, and you want that burger, and all of a sudden the burger is not exactly what you see on television, and it's like this, and you're like, that's it? That's what I ordered? That's this big hyped up burger that they've been talking about for the past couple of weeks? It's like it becomes very disappointing. And that's how some people look at the ending of this. Like, they look at it as if it was picking up a little bit in the eyes of some, but then all of a sudden it dropped off on a very disappointing scale.